Yes. Hello, my friends. This is Andy coming to you live from Orange County in the nighttime edition. This is so cool.
It's to help you sleep.
We should be like in our jammies.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cute.
With a little hat, with a little nightcap.
Right?
Not a nightcap, but a nightcap.
A nightcap. A nightcap with Jesus.
Right.
So
I was going to make sure your mic is there. There we go.
Sorry, folks.
So it's a nighttime version because my son and I, Kelly, were at a men's conference at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, with a 3,000, more than 3,000 other men.
Awesome.
At the church. All men. You know what it's like when 3,000 men say amen after a prayer?
Nice.
Oh, man. It sounds like a lion's den. It's just like, amen.
I told you, I'm like, they should have had a women's social after. We could have maybe done some like marriage matchups.
Yeah. It was awesome. I got to tell you, it was awesome. The end of it, which I did not share with you yet. I shared with you a bunch of other stuff, but at the end, they called fathers and sons to come up for an altar call to lay hands on the sons, and the general had a prayer.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For blessing our sons, blessing them into manhood, blessing them for their life going forward, and their future wives or wives currently, because there were different obviously age groups there. But I did not cry.
You didn't?
No.
I doubt it.
Why? Why do you call me out?
Nothing can make Andy cry like his little ones.
Hey, Priscilla. Hey, Carol. Hey, Amy. And so if you came here thinking I was doing the Andy Falco show and you're looking for some shenanigans, it's going to be PC for the most part. Maybe.
What?
Maybe. I don't know. We had a lot of stuff we talked about today.
Really?
Oh my gosh. It was really good. There's stuff that because it wasn't being broadcast, that, they could be a little bit more free with the stuff.
So much better.
It's so much better. Jack Hibbs Unfiltered is way good. Especially when it comes to men and women. Don't let your sons wear high heels and makeup growing up. It's like, no. That was one of the things he talked about. Just one of the things he talked about. I may go into a little bit more later, but I want to get to the devotional because I know it's late on the East Coast, and Carol's on the East Coast, or on the on the left side of our country. No, on the right side of our country. We're on the left side of the country. And so, looking at the map, left, right. The left coast, the right coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's on the right. All right.
Gotcha.
And if Deborah Sweeney, I thought I saw Deborah. I don't know where I thought I saw her. Maybe I saw her in another post, but she's in Florida. So it's like 10 something over there, right? 10:30 at night. So let's go ahead and get rid of the frame. Oh, I didn't even bring this up. Hold on. It's nighttime, so things are different.
And Andy has not slept. Most of you have heard of his amazing, miraculous story of his daughter's healing last night. So
I was going to get into that too. I just didn't want to go too deep on stuff. We would never get to the devotional. All right. So let's go. All right. We're going to devotional. We're reading from My Utmost for His Highest. We normally do this show. For those of you that may mistakenly be coming here in the evening and not know, in the morning, every day, we've been pretty consistent.
Yes.
It's been awesome. Every day we come on. And except for on Sundays where we do come in the afternoon, but every day in the morning, about 9ish, 10ish, depending on what's going on. Hetty and I do a daily devotional. Hetty and I do a daily devotional and read the devotional for the day from My Utmost for His Highest. Currently, in about a month or two, we're going to switch over to a new devotional and start a whole new one for another year. And we'll just continue this until, I don't know when.
Until Jesus comes back.
Until Jesus comes back.
Yeah. Amen.
And so that's what we're doing. So in case you were wondering, so we're reading from My Utmost for His Highest. You can go there by going to utmost.org and read along if you want to. And I've been there. I've been to this Yosemite.
Is that where that is?
Dome? Yeah, Half Dome. Oops, clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah, it's awesome. So March 20th is titled Friendship with God. The reference is Genesis 18:17. Shall I hide from Abraham one more time. Shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing? The delights of his friendship. Genesis 18 brings out the delight of true friendship with God as compared with simple feeling simply feeling his presence occasionally in prayer. This friendship means being so intimately in touch with God that you never even need to ask him to show you his will. It is evidence of a level of intimacy which confirms that you are nearing the final stage of your discipline in the life of faith. When you have a right standing relationship with God, you have a life of freedom, liberty, and delight. You are God's will, and all of your common sense decisions are actually his will for you. Unless you sense a feeling of restraint brought on by a check in your spirit, you are free to make decision in the light of a perfect and delightful friendship with God, knowing that if your decisions are wrong, he will lovingly produce that sense of restraint. Once he does, you must stop immediately. The difficulties of his friendship. Why did Abraham stop praying when he did? He stopped because he still was lacking the level of intimacy in his relationship with God, which would enable him boldly to continue on with the Lord in prayer until this desire was granted. His desire was granted. Whenever we stop short of the true desire in prayer and say, well, I don't know, maybe this is not God's will, then we still have another level to go. It shows that we are not as intimately acquainted with God as Jesus was and as Jesus would have us to be, that they may be one just as we are one. Think of the last thing you prayed about. Were you devoted to your desire or to God? Was your determination to get some gift of the Spirit for yourself or to get to God? For your Father knows the things you have need of before you ask him. The reason for asking is the reason for asking is so you may get to know God better. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. We should keep praying to get a perfect understanding of God himself. Wow. Had to get through that one. Oh my gosh, that's on the wrong side. Towards the end, I really began to think about back to the drive-through when I was going to say something and I didn't say something because the Holy Spirit interrupted and said, don't say that because you're not being a godly man to your wife. And then I started thinking about the other times where I've had...
That happened today or that
No.
Starbucks? The Starbucks one.
Yeah,
okay.
Starbucks, I'm sorry. But then there's other times where this has been occurring. It even happened a couple times today already.
Where you wanted to say something.
Where I was going to say something, and even with Kelly at the devotional, that kind of stuff. And so what I'm thinking about as I'm reading that, and I'm so sorry that I get all tongue-tied because my brain is thinking about something completely different. Like it's picturing certain moments that in this devotional, because I know you were wondering what I was going to say, was coming to me as I was reading it. And that is, I can tell that my friendship with the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, God, is beginning to manifest because I'm starting to be more relaxed around the Trinity.
Oh.
I mean, I'm beginning to get more understanding, more relaxed, more love, more accepting of the time that he chastises me. Because we were talking about that today at the men's conference. And they brought this up a couple of times, that if you're going to be a true battle buddy, is what the general was calling a battle buddy, is somebody that goes to battle that you can count on, that's going to be there. It's going to be watching the rear, going to be watching from the front. Got your six, and he's going to be there for you, and he's going to be honest with you when you're messing up. And that's what I was thinking about. I think about that moment was that's the other thing, is that you accept the chastisement when God does it, and you're more willing to accept it. You don't get defensive. Your pride doesn't get in the way.
That's beautiful.
All those things were starting to go through my head because I can tell that my relationship with God is much more friendly. It used to be an adversarial relationship about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and before that, an adversarial. Like I was always arguing with him. Like, what the heck? Oh, I almost went to my nighttime, Andy.
I was like, I agree with him altogether. No nighttime, daytime, Andy.
But I would say, like, what the heck? Why? Why do you hate me so much? I would say, like, why would you do that? Why would I have these crimes that I would go to where a child was involved and say, if there's a God, why are you allowing this to happen? Like, I'm constantly arguing with him. It was adversarial.
Oh wow!
It's not that way now.
Oh, that's
Even when I go, no, I know, I go, God has a way of doing something. And one thing I always hated was, well, God's will. And when people say that,
well, but Pastor Mark tells us that's not God. I mean, that's the devil. So we shouldn't attribute the crappy things to God.
yeah.
I think that's the biggest mistake most people make is why did God do that? God didn't do it.
Yep. But I think that's the thing I want to take away from when I'm hearing about this friendship that he's talking about,
right,
and this acceptance of him being a friend. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but it feels a little bit more like that now.
That's
and
great.
as I was reading it, it really began to hit home. Again, we have to read this 2 or 3 times sometimes before we actually get something out of it. But it was that second time just now when I was reading it that all of these things began to kind of manifest themselves in my mind. Like, oh yeah, I'm so much more at ease with the
beautiful.
things that are positive and negative. I mean, both. So that's what I was thinking about.
That's beautiful.
Awesome. What about you? Anything?
Tons.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
What?
Tons. Went from hardly anything to tons.
I didn't say it was hardly anything. I said it was difficult. It's complicated.
Okay.
First of all, it's difficult because I envy those that would have the intimacy with God to know that everything they do is God's will. I mean, that's just extraordinary to think that I'm so perfectly aligned with God. And as Christ says in John 17, I am in them and they are in me. And as you gave them to me, may they be with me always as I am with you. And John 17 is just beautiful that I was just like, wow, what would it feel like to be like that? And then I think of, I'm in this season right now where I've been engaged in some behavior that I know the Lord's not happy with. And he talk about chastisement. He's talking a lot the past couple of days. I have talked to you, but I haven't told Andy yet. But he's been talking a lot. And I was just like, oh wow. So this is what it's like when so I've had that intimacy with him when I'm very, very down, like when I'm very, very depressed, or when I have left the reservation, or I'm about to leave the reservation. Because like, daughter, okay, come back. I need you to come back here. And then just lays it on me. So it's an extraordinary experience. And I think that just the way he explains Abraham and that conversation in that passage about Abraham talking to God and God talking back, like, are you going to kill these people? Because, God's talking about destroying Sodom. And he's like, are you going to kill them if there's 50 righteous people in here? He's like, no, if you find me 50, I won't kill them. Because what about 40? What about 30? What about 20? And they start going down the list. And I mean, to be in that kind of a dialogue with God on a regular basis, it's something that would be amazing.
And so now to kind of, I want to stay on topic of the devotional, obviously, but as you were talking and as I was beginning to think about our conversation from El Pollo Loco, and what happened with my daughter on Thursday, she was at gymnastics and was doing a round off, and half her foot was on the pad and half it was off the edge, and it caused her as she was pushing off to tweak her foot, and she couldn't walk on it. She came here from gymnastics. She got dropped off by her grandmother, and was hopping, and she couldn't put any weight on it whatsoever. And so I said, well, sometimes these things hurt, shortly thereafter, and say maybe after you sleep on it a little bit, and I give you some Tylenol and give you some ice and ice it down. Maybe in the morning it'll feel a little bit better. So the next morning she couldn't walk on it again. She couldn't put any pressure on it. And I know that I've told the story, and some of you that are on have already heard me tell the story, but there may be somebody that doesn't know the story. And so the following morning, which was Friday, right? Yeah, today's Saturday, which was yesterday. I wake up, she can't put any pressure on it. I call at 8:00. I call Kaiser to get an appointment, the same day appointment. And they say, well, you can get a phone consult at 2:00. And I go, phone consult? I just gave you information. And they said, well, you're going to have to talk to a doctor. And then the doctor has to make recommendations. So we get a 2:00 appointment. I tell them the same thing. And that she can't walk on it. It's swollen and it's bruised. And it's very, very painful. And he goes, oh, it sounds like it's broken. So he goes, come in, we'll get an x-ray. And we'll take a look at the x-rays. So we do that. They look at the x-rays. The doctor looks at it and says, it looks like there's one fracture, if not two. There appears to be 2 different fractures. And then we're going to send it. He goes, we're going to send it to an orthopedic doctor and have him look at it and re-examine it to look and make sure that diagnosis is correct and to make sure there's nothing else going on. Well, we leave. I'm at home a couple hours later. The doctor calls and says a specialist has looked at it, and not only is there 2 fractures, but we also think it may be dislocated, but we can't tell with this X-ray. So you need to go have a CT scan, and I recommend you go, as quickly as you can to an emergency room to have this done. And so I did that after karate. Karate was
after the belt award.
The belt. My son was getting the belt to go from orange to purple.
So at this time it's like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So we go to the emergency room, and it's a long night. So anyway, we finally get in there. They do the CT scan, and the emergency doctor comes in. He goes, "I don't know what they were talking about. There's no break. There's no fracture, and there's no dislocation. There's nothing." Oh, I forgot one step between going to the emergency room. I asked, I put a post up on Facebook and asked people to pray. Like, can you pray for my daughter for her healing, or that it's not horribly bad, that she doesn't have to have like some type of surgery? Because when they were talking, the doctor said,
because if it's dislocated, they have to re-break it and reset.
Yes, and that's what we were so worried about. So after the prayer request is when the doctor came in the room. I'm telling you, it was maybe a minute, 2 minutes after I did that, and there were already some prayers popping up. And he walked in and he goes, "I don't know what they're talking about. There's nothing. There's nothing on here that shows that it's fractured. There's nothing on here that shows that it's dislocated. It's just a bad sprain." He goes, "We're going to look at it one more time, but my cursory look is there's nothing." So an hour and a half later, after him and another doctor looked at it, they said, "There's nothing there. There's nothing wrong." So I don't know where they saw the breaks or the dislocation. Nothing was there.
Amen.
So now to the devotional, and why I brought all this up is that in the past, I never would have given God credit for that.
You had a hard time giving God credit this time.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That's my point.
You're getting better.
That I just would have said, "Oh, they just misdiagnosed."
Dumb doctor.
Dumb, stupid doctor. It's Kaiser, after all. Kaiser nearly killed me twice. And how stupid. And I go, not only one stupid doctor, but 2 stupid doctors in a row. In this case, that's what I would have said. Like, no. There was nothing. I mean, there was nothing that I could attribute to God for doing anything. So I'm more accepting of it now. It is hard. I mean, a little bit of the flesh, right? That my old Andy's still there, but I can tell you based on this devotional stuff that I am way more open now to the thought that it was awesome. God's intervention. And then with you going, like, looking at me like, dude, who else? Like, you're like who else did that?
Yeah.
You can't have 2 doctors, especially an orthopedist.
An orthopedist doesn't make those kind of mistakes.
Kaiser orthopedist?
Yeah, because there's, if you look at the X-ray, there was like, oh, maybe he saw the growth plate and thought that was a fracture. No, you don't look at a growth plate that's clearly from one end of the bone to the other and think that that's a fracture.
We got a printout on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I mean, even the digital version, which we saw on the computer, is even clearer. Like, even I've looked at lots of X-rays from dog X-rays. I look at them all the time because we X-ray dogs' hips all the times, and shoulders, and wrists and back and that kind of stuff, and around the tail. So I've looked at hundreds and hundreds of X-rays.
No, and I mean,
that doesn't make me an expert. It just I can look at it and say I don't see a break.
But I also think what's important is that people understand the context. So Andy has been planning to go to this conference and was really excited about going to this conference for weeks now. He got a ticket for him and his son. I came out early in the morning to take care of the little ones while he's gone, because he's gone all day. And it was one thing after another. Then he gets sick. He's got a cold. And that's not common. That comes out of nowhere. And it's like 10:30 at night. And I'm saying it. And I texted him, I was like, "Are you still going tomorrow?" He's like, "Yes, I'm still going." So it's like, I told him, I said, there was a battle in the spiritual realm that the enemy wanted him not going to that conference. And they just threw it at him and threw it at him and threw it at him. And once his resolve was, "I'm going," and people prayed, it was like, problem solved. The enemy shows up, but Jesus and his angels shows up. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot about that too. I mean, that because that's how I knew that it was miraculous, because I was sitting at home thinking to myself, "Oh man, Lord, what are you doing? Like, he really wants to go to this, and it's really important that he goes. And like, why is this happening right now?" And they were testing your resolve, and we always have to understand that God allows the testing to check the resolve of his son or his daughter, So when your resolve was clear, the Lord stepped up. He didn't need you going there with a dislocated foot and worrying all day. It's like, that's easy. I can solve this one. Okay, son,
Wow.
Done. I mean, it was
He loves
awesome.
me that much.
Absolutely. He shed his son's blood for you.
That's the conversation that came up too. They're like, I'm not worthy. Like they go, how many of you guys out here feel like you're not worthy? How many of you guys feel like you whatever you've done is so
we
bad?
aren't worthy.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to start. We aren't.
Yeah.
But he did
That's what makes him
anyways.
such a great friend.
Exactly.
Is that he's never given up. He's constantly been waiting, and he's like, "I'm still here. You've tried that. You've yelled at me. You've cussed at me, like I almost did tonight. You've done. You've hated me at times, and I'm still here. I'm still your friend."
Amen.
That's where all this is kind of coming back, and I hope that is pretty clear. That as we go on these little, it seems like trails or squirrels, but we're coming back. Oh my son, yes.
That's her story, isn't it?
Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. Bo, make sure Ray has a strawberry first. Sorry about that. We have a little thing going on in the background. The kids are here. But all of that, what you were saying, when you actually text me and ask me, is everything going okay? I go, yes, it's amazing. I'm getting hammered from all. I would say this is cool because I could see it happening. Like all of these spears being thrown at me like crazy. And this cold hit me. I haven't had a cold. I've had COVID, but I've not had a cold.
No, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
I went to bed at 2:00 this morning, woke up at 5.
Yeah.
And hopped in the shower, woke up the kid, and we got out of there. And we stayed awake for the whole conference. And the conference was amazing, by the way. I already said that.
That's so great.
How do you like our shirts? I keep looking down and forget that. We have matching cross shirts.
Jesus is king.
Look at that. This is so cool. And it says, what does it say on there? I can't read it.
Fear not, for the Jesus, the Lion of Judah, has triumphed.
That's so awesome. This is my birthday gift from which one of the kids? Which one?
The two little ones.
2 little boys. And Kelly's gift was to go with me today.
Aw.
And
that's what Zara does to me. She's like, do you want to go to church? That's your gift.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And he thanked me afterwards. He said, thank you for taking me. I really liked it.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Because you have that teenager look that they give you, and that, hey, I want you to go with me to a men's conference at church, and it's going to be from 8 a.m. until 5. And he's like, you want me to do what? I mean, he's a godly kid, and he prays, and he reminds us to pray all the time. But I think, when you, as a teenager, a 14-year-old, and we're going to go hang out with a bunch of men, 3,000 men. But it was awesome. There were other kids there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was really, I can't even tell you. I just said, if anybody should be here in addition to the men, it should have been you.
Aww,
because I know you would have loved every second of it, every minute of it.
Broadcast some of it.
There was a pastor, and are we done? Is it okay to move on to this subject? Because it's not even related. This is not even related.
This is your night audience. So you should throw some other details.
Get a glass of wine. So there's this pastor, Pastor Flower, a black pastor out of Texas. And I wish I knew. I don't know if he's near Amy or not, but Pastor Flower. Just imagine he's like, oh yeah, and he's like yell kind of guy.
Yeah,
very good. And he talked about how one day in church he brought in a bunch of guns. And I forget what guns they were. Do you remember the guns? Because I sent you the video.
Something 34. I didn't recognize the name.
It was like 4 or 5 guns that he brought in, and he has them sitting on a table on the stage, and he gets up there and he says he starts taking them apart, and so he's going to clean them. So he's taking off the barrel and the slides and the springs and all the things, and he's laying them on the table, disassembling them, and he's laying them out. And so he goes, and everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, why do you have these guns on stage? This is really scary. And so he goes, well, what I'm about to demonstrate to you is the difference between gathering and assembling. And so he goes in the description, he goes, if somebody were to come in, right, or if somebody's going to come in that's a threat, and I were to then, at this threat, gather all of these things and go, how much of a threat would that be to the person who's coming in here to hurt us? Like, if I just gathered these pieces of these guns, it's nothing. Like, laugh. Like, what, are you going to throw the pieces at me? And then he goes, but if the guy was coming through and I began to assemble them and putting them all together. And so he
good.
And he goes, so what's better, gathering or assembling? And so he went on to talk about that we need to assemble as American Christians, conservatives. We need to assemble, not just gather. Gathering gets us nothing. And so he went on the whole thing. But you just imagine this guy. That was so good. I get the chills just thinking about it.
Oh, I love
He was much better at it than I was.
Do not forsake the assembly of the saints.
Oh, it was so good.
I love that.
Difference of gathering and assembling. I can't wait to use that. I'm going to write it out so it sounds a lot better.
To emphasize it.
Yeah. Oh, he started yelling, California. He goes, California. He goes, California. We're on the rise in California.
Pentecostal, preachers, man, they'll bring the fire of God down.
Oh, he was so good. And the men loved it. The Lieutenant General retired. There we go. William Boykin. He, the book here, Man to Man. This is a great book. And I hadn't brought this up to you either, but they talked about doing a men's small group with this book too.
Yeah.
Like Bible
Remember,
study.
that's what we wanted to get extra copies for. My friend Layla is the co-author.
Oh, yeah. Your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just know everybody, don't you?
No, I just think that's a neat coincidence of all the Bible books, all the Bible study books that you choose to read.
Is the one that you have a friend.
Yes.
That you know her.
Yes, she works for him.
All right.
She works at the Family Research.
Well, they talked about doing a Bible study or a men's group study, just like doing it based on that book. And they have everything all written out, all the questions and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I was thinking that maybe that might be something to do. But we have so many plans to do.
No, but that's one of the first things we're going to do when we move.
Nice.
Into our new place.
What?
Bible study. Absolutely.
I'm so happy. When's that going to happen?
I don't know.
Oh.
The Lord, as he so wills. We're just expecting good things.
I know. Well, that's going to be fun. So there was that. General Boykin told another story, and this is another short one, but this is another one that got me. This was powerful, and it got Kelly too. Kelly was like, we looked at each other, wow. And so General Boykin went through a couple of the battles that he was in Grenada and Black Hawk Down. He was the one involved in that, one of the main players in the Black Hawk Down incident. And then there was a couple incidents after that. So, and I'm not sure where this one was. I'm just going to share the one part of the story that he and a couple other men were standing in a location that got bombed. And when they got bombed, they all went down. And he had like shrapnel in his legs. So his legs, and he went down. It's one of the 3 or 4 times that he got almost killed, mortally wounded. But he goes down and he's like laying there, and he's going, where's my doctor? Because his doctor was in the area, the doctor that was around him, because he's a general. So he had like a doctor that I guess was assigned to him, and he didn't know it, but his doctor got hit too. His doctor was right behind him. And his doctor's down. So they take them to the tent where they're, like a MASH unit. So they take him to the tent, and he's like holding onto his hand because they're like really close friends. Oh. And he's like holding his hand, and he's hurt way worse than the general is. And he's holding his hand, and he goes, don't you die on me. Don't you die on me. And he's telling him, do not die. Stay with us. Stay with us. And the nurses begin to tell him, he goes, you can let go of his hand. He's not going to make it. And he's gone. And he goes, no, I told him that he cannot go. He cannot go. I'm holding it, and he wouldn't let go. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. He goes, I'm not letting go of his hand. And he starts crying. The general starts crying on the stage. And then he's like lost it for a second. And then he gets his breath back, and he goes, I would not let go of his hand. You guys need to know not to give up. You cannot give up on people. You can't give up on your children. You can't give up on your wife. And he goes, you cannot give up. And then a picture pops up, and it's the doctor alive now. And and he goes, and he saves people. He's saved people's lives. He's changed people's lives. He's also a pastor, and he just goes on to all the things that he's gone on to do. And he goes, I wasn't going to let go of his hand. I told God, because he was praying to God, God, you cannot I told you, God, at least save him. A bunch of other people had died. He goes, you cannot let him die. Save at least this one man. And he goes, I'm telling you, God, save this one man. And he shows a picture of him still alive today.
That is so beautiful.
Oh, it was amazing. And to watch him lose it too was like, oh, God. I'm so happy that a lieutenant general in charge of Delta Force, he was crying.
See?
I could cry.
Real men cry.
Yes, that's true.
I love it.
What a story. But oh gosh, you women miss so much. I'm so sad it was only for men. No, it was amazing. So many amazing speakers. Really, really good speakers. You know how you go to a conference and you have like 10 speakers?
Yes.
And you got
lucky
oh man,
2 of them are good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like you're going to like an event where Tony Robbins is one of the speakers, but everybody else is like
a filler.
Is not.
So funny.
Because you always have the one space, especially when you have one really good speaker that really knows how to handle a crowd and knows how to speak to the crowd and has energy and that kind of stuff. And he's so good that maybe the other ones would be okay
Yeah.
if it wasn't for him. But that's not the case here. They were all Jack Hibbs, amazing.
Oh,
His talk was so good, so powerful.
I'm sorry.
And
We missed it.
yeah, it was so good. So I know I'm making all of you jealous. Let's see. Did we miss anything? Love the shirts. Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you.
And we're going to see Priscilla tomorrow. You already said that, right?
Yes. I don't think I said it when we were on live. But
Satan will always try to stop us getting closer to Jesus. This is a perfect example. I have goosebumps at what God has
Amen.
done. Ugh.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know the half of it. There was like all kinds of stuff happening yesterday. I was trying to make phone calls. I tried to call Courtney. She had to work. I mean, trying to get this all coordinated yesterday just was not, there was nothing that was going to go right. It really was challenging me. Yeah. And then finally I got to bed at 2 a.m. And the cold kept me awake.
Yeah,
I think I slept an hour and a half. It's one of those colds. It's all sinus.
Yes, really.
And so I laid on my back and it's like, I can't breathe. And so I go all roll over on my stomach. And then now it's all coming out like so gross. Like I can't do. Oh, it was miserable.
Sorry.
It was good. Where were you?
I was at home alone.
Where's my wife?
That was the funniest part, I guess.
Speed things up. Let's see. I wanted to see. Do you have anything to say? Because I want to go get the thing. I want to find out where the pastor is from.
Oh, you can
Pastor
do that.
Flowers.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah. I think it's really the level of intimacy with God, so that you have a conversation that when he scolds you and you can still appreciate the loving hand of him in your life, is a really powerful place to be. Because oftentimes we tune him out, don't we? Like if it starts to sound like something we don't want to hear, or habits that we don't want to give up, comforts we don't want to give up, then we start to question whether it's him, or we tune him out. And we run the risk of diminishing the voice that we hear when we tune him out. I'm still stuck on the hearing God's voice.
Oh, sorry to sniff. Sorry, I'm trying to find it here. The other one, Bishop Larry Jackson, was amazing. He's from...
Oh, I thought that's who it was.
No, from the Fellowship of International Churches. Let's see. Flowers?
I didn't see a Flowers.
Well, I wonder.
Maybe he's a last minute addition. Oh, there you go.
But does it say? He's a senior pastor of Faith Outreach Center International.
Well, maybe he doesn't have an actual church. Maybe he's just running the ministry.
Yeah, it doesn't have it. But he said he was from Texas.
Maybe he lives in Texas.
Perhaps. Well, that was a bust going. I wanted Amy to go do some recon.
Amy, maybe she could find him. But I mean, a lot of people have ministries but don't have churches.
Oh, all right then. No, forget it then. Can't go.
But we can check out his stuff online and maybe find some cool stuff.
We'll figure it
videos.
out.
YouTube.
So good. It was so good.
YouTube.
When he started yelling about California, he goes, "This is perfect."
Oh, I got some of them preachers I listen to all the time. Q Gatson out in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh my God.
Who?
Bring the house down. Q Gatson.
Q Gatson.
Yeah.
Is he part of QAnon?
No.
Oh.
He is not a QAnon. Oh boy.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
His first name's Q.
Yep.
QAnon. It's Q and then Anon is what I learned.
Yes.
Right?
Somebody wrote it on your Facebook. That was so educational for me. I never knew where that came from, but they gave a really nice explanation.
Yeah. That was an atheist friend of mine.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He went to church with me one time.
Oh, he's the one.
Yes.
Okay.
He's the one. The church still stood.
See that?
We were worried. Like when we walked in, like,
oh, God's bigger.
Yeah. It was good. I think he was hoping that's the time that we went, took an atheist to church and they talked about the devil.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
You needed to hear it. You needed to hear it, obviously. Planted a seed. You never know.
Yeah.
How was Mark Harris? Did you see Mark? How was Mark Harris? Carol's asking.
Mark Harris.
He was one of the speakers.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was.
Let me see what he looked like.
Yeah, it may be easier that way because
Mark Harris.
unless that picture's 20 years old.
It's what did he do? I think he did a breakout session. I don't think I went to his breakout session. He wasn't one of the main people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, not everybody spoke on the main stage. There were breakout sessions that we went to, and I think that's what he was. He definitely wasn't. He wasn't one of the main guys.
Neat.
Yeah. So let me see. I'm looking through the catalog here. Hold on. There was a schedule. Where'd the schedule go? No, that's all the. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he definitely was a breakout session. I forgot what his title. I didn't go. There was like 5 or 6 people that had breakout sessions, and you pick 2.
Oh, right.
One for the morning
Makes
session,
sense.
one for the evening session. Yeah. So sorry, I have no info for you. He was well dressed. They all wore the same thing. They all wore the same shirt with the
It's the same one you got?
Stand Courageous logo. No, it was a button-up shirt. They had available. It looked like like a blue gas station attendant shirt.
Oh,
with the logo on it.
The golf shirts?
Yeah, actually, I mean, it wasn't bad. It just reminded me of our investigators. They all wore those gas station attendant shirts with their name on it. You know, they're not their real name, but their undercover name. So that's what they reminded me of. They look good though. I'm not trying to say they look bad. Does it sound like I was criticizing? No. Well, that's the first thing I thought. They look like investigators.
If you walked over to one and said, "Oh wow, you guys look like gas station attendants," I don't know how they'd feel about that. Maybe it'd be considered. That's one of those Andy comments where you're like, "What? I didn't mean anything by it. It's just what it reminds me of." Oh, okay.
I have those all the time. There were so many other moments though. They were really good. The lunch was good. So they have them all over the country. So if you have a man that you think would like this, is Stand Courageous. They do have them in other parts of the country.
They're having one in Colorado and then a couple in Leesburg, Virginia. So you East Coasters, would have a chance to.
Because Virginia is where what's his name was from, Tony Perkins.
Yes,
right.
That's where I originally met him in DC.
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
He was good. He was good too. Towards the end of the day, he read a lot of scripture. That was a little rough. That's when I would start hitting the wall. But not the scriptures boring. I'm just telling you, he's just reading, and it's not the running around kind of stuff. But overall, it was really good. The scripture was good too. It was all good stuff. But then it closed with praying over my son. Oh, forget about it.
Forget about it.
That was really tough. And other men were just bawling. Oh my gosh, it was pretty emotional. And then people were looking at me. I looked over and a couple people were looking at Kelly and I, and they're going, and they're like, "Oh, they're like they're going like this, give me thumbs up."
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. That part was fun. All right, anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you for joining us on this nighttime edition of the devotional. That was fun.
Yeah, Carol says my old stomping ground, Leesburg.
Yes, Leesburg's nice.
What did I do in Leesburg? I think I blew up an apartment in Leesburg.
Okay, you need to put context to that statement.
Well, we were training bomb dogs.
There you go. Training bomb dogs didn't just blow up a building.
No, I was doing work with
Facebook
the
algorithm. Bomb dogs.
I was working with some guys that work for DHS. They also run a business called Firing Line. No, what's the name of their business? We partnered up. I should remember a business that I partnered up with.
It's a lot. It's a lot for you to remember.
Yeah. I forget the name of the business. Anyway, I created a video for them and everything. Anyway, we put on a training program where they were showing how each one of the explosives work. So det cord and C4 and what different uses terrorists and other people have for the explosives, and the power behind them, how much you need, how much is a half pound, what kind of explosion you get from a half pound, how much of an explosion you get from 2 pounds.
And then dogs sniffing it?
Yes. And so we did like a quasi, it was like 3 different things at once. So we had, here's what bombs do. And this is how loud the bang is. We can blow up a car, or we can just blow a hole through a wall and then walk through the wall.
Sure.
And then we also had the dog searches. And then we had also investigators, crime scene investigators that were being trained separately, but using the explosions that we set off. And then they would bring the investigators in to
Sure.
examine where the
After
explosive,
reports.
where it took place, and that kind of stuff. We even blew up a big gigantic hog. It was a dead hog. We put pants and a shirt on the hog and sat him in the driver's seat of a vehicle.
Did stuff go
And
flying
then we blew,
everywhere?
then we blew up the vehicle. And then they came in
Good times.
and watched the degloving. You know what degloving is? Is when the skin comes off of you and then it kind of hangs, and everything's in almost perfect
what
proportion.
makes your skin come off?
It
and
just
hang?
the concussion, the wave, the explosive wave. It's not the fire or the heat that kills you. It's the wave from the explosion that kills you. It rattles your body and turns it into liquid, and then the skin falls off. Yeah, it's amazing. So at this entire apartment complex, and the police department there said you can use this abandoned apartment complex. It's an old HUD area. He goes, but just don't damage anything. You know, you can blow up maybe a door, but don't leave it a mess, because our SWAT team wants to come in here and use this complex for training. And so my buddies Ryan and his team of DHS guys, they went in there and set up all these explosives in this apartment area, and even some that were hidden. And the dogs would come in and they would do a search, and they would tell us where they have alert and that kind of stuff. Well, the dogs missed a couple, and then so we said, we're going to show you what happens when you miss. And so we blew up a door on one that a dog missed, and we blew up something else. And then they set these other explosives in this other apartment, and they were going to demonstrate how to blow up holes in the walls and how to blow doors off, so that, you know, SWAT team can make entry, or if you needed to go from one room to the next but wanted to go secretly through a wall, they put det cord in like the shape of a door and blow that up, and it blows a hole, and then you just walk through the wall.
Nice.
And then sheet explosives, so you do the same thing.
Okay.
So they didn't know as much as I thought they knew, because they put an explosive across from another explosive. You don't want to do that, because what happens is the concussion hits the other, and it like quadruples the power of the explosive. So the explosive by itself would be, you know, moderate, but you put one across it, and then when it hits, it 10 times it. I don't know, it's huge. So in the demonstration, they go, okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire in the hole. And
The whole building.
the whole building blew up, and it fell. I have the whole video. You've never seen me. I've never showed you that video.
No.
Oh, and the police department's there, and they look and they go, you just, and then Ryan goes, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Wow.
We completely blew out one of the apartment
Yeah,
complexes.
yeah, that's a nice bedtime story.
Yeah.
Life of a cop.
And I looked over at the guy, the lieutenant that was there. I go, hey, I'm the dog guy. I didn't
Anything to do with
I
the
didn't do any of
C4?
that.
I had nothing to do with that.
Don't look at me, because that's what he looked at me like. That's not me. I'm not the explosive guy. I'm not the tech here. I'm just the dog guy. But yeah, blew up the entire. I'll show you the video. It's pretty
Nice.
awesome.
Okay.
Maybe
Bedtime video. Apparently.
maybe I'll post it, because now I'm
But not
telling
with
you.
the skin falling off on the pig. I don't want to see all that.
Yeah, I have
No.
that one too.
Not interested.
I have plenty of video on that too. All right, my friends. I don't know how we got on that topic.
You follow. Well, that wasn't a squirrel. That was a deer. We just followed. It's not a squirrel.
Oh, it had to do with
That was a deer.
Leeberg.
Yeah, at least
I don't think where I was.
it just you like this good comedy show.
Where?
That reminds me of the time when and you're just like, oh no, here we go.
Where is the Little League World Series? Where does that take place?
Oh my god, that's
What is
a
it?
big fat squirrel.
Where is the Little League World? Somebody knows. I could do a Google search, but it's better to ask you guys.
Okay, I think we should let our friends go. It's late.
No, they're still on. They're listening. We've
Or
doubled.
maybe they're trying to be polite
We've doubled our numbers since I started telling those stories.
because they're expecting your nighttime show. So yeah,
TMI. Which
yeah,
one was the TMI? Which was the TMI?
Yep, the whole.
Oh, the skin.
Oh, that
The skin.
maybe.
Oh, you should have seen the guts are everywhere. It was pretty awesome. And then watch this team of crime scene
Awesome.
investigators going through and measurement and all that kind of stuff. The guts and the entrails that were everywhere. It was pretty cool.
Hmm.
It was pretty awesome to watch that.
Awesome.
I'm waiting for somebody to. I'm just not vamping.
Venting.
No, I'm just kind of keeping things going until somebody tells me where the Little League World Series is.
Why would anybody know that?
They'll know. It's a common. People know.
It's a thing.
Yeah, people know.
I don't know.
I'm waiting. Oh, no, nice. No, it's not nice. Nice Philadelphia. I think it's in Philadelphia somewhere.
I wouldn't know.
I might have to Google it. Some
No,
of you,
come on. Okay, well,
no,
relevant.
they're still here. Look at now. We got up to 8. It went from 4 to 6 to 8, and so we got to keep these people. They have nothing.
Okay, you're gonna tell some more cop stories.
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear another? I got tons of cop stories.
No.
Let's see. Little League, World Series, World. Fun. Help me out. It should be. Oh, I didn't put league. I can't. Thank you. Little League World Series is. See, you can. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Is in
Pennsylvania.
I know
Williamsport.
Williamsport. That sounds just like Leesburg.
Really? Don't it, folks? But
Yeah.
don't it?
It was near Williamsburg. It was. Now I remember.
Williamsport is not
Williamsport.
Leesburg.
Well, it kind of sounds.
More stories. Sharon's fascinated.
Oh,
Look.
let's see. What's another one of my stories?
Oh my God.
I got
I'm
so
sure
many.
you got thousands.
You know what happened on the way there?
On the way to the conference?
On the way. on the
Dead
way-
bodies?
No, that's the time. So, no, I don't want to tell this story. I'll tell this one another time. It's not really a cop story. Well, it kind of is. So anyway, on as I'm getting ready to fly to the place where they have the
Pittsburgh?
no
Or Williamsport.
Williamsport.
So you were going to the Little League Series.
No, I was going. That's where the apartment was. Is in that same town where the Little League World Series takes place.
Okay,
the apartment
okay.
is just outside of
Gotcha.
that town.
That's what the connection was.
So when I'm going to leave, I'm flying out of LAX to go fly over there, which I hate flying out of LAX. And I'm taking a bag that I normally use for canine training. So I have a canine bag, a go bag that has all kinds of stuff in it that I use, leashes
Narcotics.
and narcotics, and sometimes explosives and sometimes guns, like guns that I use for training. And so I'm constantly switching things out. And I got into a hurry. And there's lots of pockets on this bag that I used to have. I don't have it anymore. And I kind of missed a gun.
Gun. Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
I've hopped
But
on
it's not even a gun that you can, it's a,
What was
it's-
it, pre
it's a-
9/11?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hopped on a
It was
gun with
after-
a 357.
Yeah. Oh, but this was actually this was a starter pistol.
Oh.
It wasn't even a real gun.
But you had that badge thing you could flash.
Oh, listen, that didn't help.
Didn't
They were
help.
so pissed. Then they said, you can't get on the flight. You can't even leave. You got to take that gun out of here. I mean, I was lucky that they didn't arrest me. They were so
Yeah.
pissed at me. And I go, listen, I didn't know it was there. And I had my business cards. I said, I'm going to train a bunch of LAX dogs. Some LAX dogs were flying to Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, I'm sorry. We're flying there too. Like
One of
4
those
LAX dogs were going there. I'm training the dogs that are working here. I'm going there to train them.
Sir, you should be
and
more
they said,
responsible.
you need to get this. You need to take the gun home and come back. If I take the gun home, I live in Orange County. And they said, I don't care. We're going to watch you leave.
And what happened?
Well, it's the strangest thing. I think God was around again. And so I go outside and I'm holding my bags. Like for a second, I'm just like going, really? And I got dropped off. I forget. That was before even Uber was around. And so I kind of said, you know how you kind of look dejected? Like you're like what do I do?
And a little guardian angel said, hey,
Listen.
you want me to take that gun off your hands?
No, kind of. A guy in a limousine.
I know where to take
A
that.
guy in a limousine pulls up and he goes, do you need a ride somewhere? And I said, I kind of do. I explained the story to him. I go, I got this gun. I need to get rid of it, but I got to get back in time for a plane, but they're watching me. And they say, I go, can you give me a
And
ride?
then what happened?
I go, can you give me a ride to like a Starbucks?
And then you can drop in the trash can? What are you going to do with it in a Starbucks?
Were you there? Oh my God.
Remember, I'm part of the Mad Mobster crew. So I was like,
I said, do you have any like papers, like paper towels and stuff like that? He goes, yeah, get in the back of the limousine. I'll take you to the Starbucks. The guy was so cool. And I wrapped it up in trash and I took it apart. So I had pieces. So I didn't want, and I put them in separate trash. So he takes me to the local Starbucks and I drop in 2 different trash cans, the different parts of the gun. This is a long time ago. So I don't think they can arrest me for this. And so, and it was a starter pistol. You couldn't even use it as a real gun. But I took all the pieces apart, like I think I put in 3 different trash cans and wrapped it. Nobody would have ever found it. And he waited for me. I got back in the limousine. He took me back to the thing and dropped me off. And I said, and I go, how much I owe you? He goes, you don't owe me anything.
did he explain why he did this for you?
He just goes, he goes, you seem like a nice guy that was in trouble. I could tell that you needed help.
And you got in the car and you're like, I have a gun. And I need to dispose of it.
It's not on my badge.
I swear-
I got it's not on my badge.
I swear to you, I really don't. I'm not a killer. I just need to dispose of a gun.
This is such a.
I would have been like,
He drives me back. I said, how much are you? He goes, you owe me nothing. He goes, I'm just glad I can help you out. And I gave him like $40. I gave, here's $40. I go, I needed this so bad. I thank you. And he goes, no problem. He goes, I've never done anything like this. And I'm just glad I could help out. I said, so am I. And I got back in and the guy's like, where'd you go? I said, they took me to a friend of mine's house and I gave it to him. Because the cops saw me come back and they go, what'd you do with the gun? They didn't say that.
See, that's what I would have done. I would have just got on my phone and just called everybody I know. Hey, come here, pick up my gun.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. My home I was like, there was nobody I could have called. But anyway, that's the story.
You couldn't call Carlene?
Nobody. I don't even think that Carlene was around then. I think Sherry was still my assistant. No, there was no, they're all in Orange County. I'm in LAX and my flight was like in 45 minutes. I had 45 minutes to solve this problem.
Wow.
I walked out. I walked out. He's ejected. The guy pulls up limousine. Hey, you need some help?
And I mean, I understand somebody pulling up and being like, hey, you need a ride. But then when you get in and you say, I need to dispose of a gun, I would have been like, that's where I check out.
I go, you're not going to believe this. This is what I need. And he goes, oh, no problem. I'll take you to I'll take it. I know where you could go. I'll take you to Starbucks.
Priscilla's crying. Because I think only Andy could pull that off. You've all heard he drives and gets out of a ticket pulling a Yui in front of a sheriff, like a deputy sheriff, and was like, oh, bro, I'm sorry. Yeah. Next time I'll be more careful. The guy's like, okay, bro. And I was like, what just happened? I don't understand. Yeah.
One more quick story, just because there's people here. One more quick one.
Okay.
You ready? So I'm driving to Vegas. I got Dan, the cameraman. And I had a cameraman that used to he worked for me for about 2 years. And all his job was just to film me doing stuff. And
wow, that must have been interesting.
Yeah, well. And so we're on our way to Vegas because we're going to Super Zoo where they have the world's largest pet expo. Where, all the people that sell dog food and all that kind of stuff. So we're driving there to Vegas and we're chatting it up and talking and laughing, playing the music loud and that kind of stuff.
See what happens when you derail. See what happens. No, don't put that on the screen.
Why not? No, you can't point it out and not show it.
Well, why can't I? No, I was talking about this one.
Oh, wow. Do you want to answer that question?
No.
Okay.
Is that are those our Twitch friends?
Yeah, Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm driving to Vegas. This is a really short one though. So I'm driving to Vegas, and at some point we're going like 110, maybe 105. I don't know how fast the car was going, but it was like the traffic going to Vegas sometimes can be about 90 miles an hour. So it really wasn't like we were blowing doors up, but we were going a pretty good clip.
Right.
And we were in Nevada now, so we'd crossed over the state line and we're rolling. And all of a sudden I see in my mirror, I see the lights, and I'm thinking. For a second, I go, oh, he needs to get past me to an accident. Everybody's going fast. I'm just going a little bit faster than everybody else.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so I get past a big semi truck and I get past him. As soon as I get past the front, I change lanes. And that truck starts honking horn. And then the cop pulls up next to me. He's like yelling at me. It's a black guy with a big smoky hat on, right? And when he smiles, he has gold teeth. And he's like, it's like pointing at me like he's so mad. So I pull over eventually after we cleared the truck and all that kind of stuff. He pulls over and he's like, puts his hat on. And he's got these big old arms and he's like standing and he's like pointing at me and he's like yelling, spit's coming out of his mouth. His gold teeth are just like sparkling, in the sunlight. And he's got his sunglasses on, and I think that takes him off at some point to look at me. He's like, I can't believe it. You cut me off. You tried to shave me off with that truck. And he's like accusing me. I go, sir. I'm looking at the window. I go, sir. I go, I wasn't. I promise you. I thought you were trying to get past me to go to an accident. I didn't realize you were pulling me over. He goes, no, even the truck driver thought you were trying to, because he got on the radio and he told me, he goes, I can't believe he did that to you. He disrespected you. So the truck driver's egging him on, say, go get that guy, right? And so that's why he's even more pissed and upset. And so he's yelling at me and screaming at me after he pulled me over. And Dan, he's like pooping his pants. He's thinking, he's going to go to jail.
What am I going to
do? And all I keep saying is, I'm so sorry. I go, I didn't, just like this. I go, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean what you think. And you're right. I deserve a ticket. I am so sorry. I deserve a ticket. I know it. And I apologize. And he starts commenting. He goes, "Where do you work?" And I go, "Anaheim Police Department." And he goes, "Oh, you guys just think you can drive? All police officers are like, oh, you guys coming here for Baker to Vegas run. All of you think that you can just drive through this state and like you own the place. All you LAPD, LASO." And he's like, just goes on and on. I go, "But I'm with Anaheim. I go, yeah, I'm Orange County." And I just keep joking. I'm so sorry. I go, "Listen, sir, I am so, please give me a ticket. I told him, I deserve a ticket. I just know." And he leaves and he comes back and he hands me my license. He goes, "You just be careful." He goes, I can't give you a ticket. You just go.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was going like 110. And Dan looks at me like you did the other day. He's like, "What just happened?
Yeah.
How did you get out of that ticket?"
It's a bro code.
I just said I was sorry, and I didn't mean to.
Some kind of mixture of humility and confidence.
I wish you would have been there. You would have loved it.
I don't know.
Oh
No, don't even go there. With
I'm trying to see. None of them.
None of them.
He's been talking so long, and it's all. I know. But I had to tell that story. And see, we're still at 8 people. Nobody left.
Because
Nobody left. That is.
they're entertained.
They thought I was going to go to jail. Give me 3 years max. Still,
He meets the big guy in the sky. I have no idea what that's about.
I don't know either.
Maybe he thinks your blood pressure is rising. I don't know.
I wish I could show you some of those other ones, but I can't.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate. If it was the Andy Falco show at night, I definitely would show you. You're not long, and don't worry. Oh, are they bagging on me?
Yeah.
What, was that Robin? Is that Robin?
Robin. Oh, masquerading. I don't think
people
so.
think they're hurting my feelings by doing that. I just think, how awesome am I that I got a chick like this?
See, and then this one is like, we can all see that you don't care. Rock on, you don't. Somebody who actually really does know you.
I don't care. All right, my friends, I love you. Thank you for joining us in the evening. I'm not sure how many times we'll do something like this.
I've got a lovely smile, doll. Or unless he's talking to you.
What? Can you summarize?
No.
Oh, can you summarize the Bible? You got a lovely smile, doll. I think they are talking to me.
Thank you, guys.
But some of these other ones, if you guys could only see some of these other ones, you would be shocked.
And I'm not even sure if they're saying him to me or him. So you never know these days.
Oh, the guy doesn't like Vegas, apparently.
I don't know what you did.
Nobody cares for my story.
This is a devotional. What have you done to my devotional?
I know. I'm so sorry. It's an evening show. It's different.
But look at what the people are doing on our devotional.
Oh, she. You don't care. You don't care.
You don't care what I don't care.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Is that true? Is that true? I've never even done that.
Done what?
Farted.
Not in front of me, thank God.
Yeah,
No.
yes. I'm a gentleman. Oh, the Twitch people are so awesome.
Aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, whoa, I can't show you that one. That's a good one. That's not that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
Thank you.
At least you have red hair.
Oh my God.
Now they're watching just to see what yeah, we can't. That's it. All right. So I love you.
I love you too.
All right, I love you guys. Even you guys on Twitch. I especially love you guys on Twitch. You guys are so much fun.
Yes. And thank you to our friends. If we've lost them, Carol, Priscilla, Amy, thank you for joining us tonight.
Whiteboard in the background is racist.
Oh, you mean not the Second Amendment, the flag, or Jesus, but the whiteboard is? Funny.
Sharon loved the stories. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Sharon.
All right. So anyway, the evening show, again, we're not sure how many times. I know for sure I probably won't go on with any stories because that's a one-time thing.
It's not going to turn into the Andy Falco and Penny devotional and Andy stories.
I didn't curse.
That was beautiful. You really
I didn't call Democrats names.
No.
So
look at that. Filled with the Holy Spirit.
But I am. This is what makes this new life so fantastic is that we can just roll with so many things and nothing seems to phase us. I mean, I know it does. There's certain things that will get to us and we kind of have this, a moment of time where we get kind of back in our flesh. But I can tell you way more often now, it's just like, wow, I guess
That's people.
that's just how things are just gonna be this way.
Roll.
It's like that. It's like last night. It's like all the things like back and forth. Everybody at any point, anybody could have just got angry at the next thing that happened. Like, really? That's been enough. But God is great. God is great. This whole year, 2020 was, I know for many people it was horrible. For me, it was a life-changing experience. It just was so amazing. Nearly died, and that was awesome. It was because I read so much. I got into the devotional, got into the Bible, got into videos by Pastor Mark and Jack and other pastors, and it was just an amazing time. And I'm so happy.
It has been wild ride.
During this time, I met you, and we're doing this together, and it's just been fantastic. But God is great. The friendship part of this devotional was a really important message that just hit me on how it's changed me. I know that I'm now friends with the Holy Spirit and never was before this. It was amazing.
Beautiful.
All right.
That's what we want to leave you with, folks.
Yeah.
Find your friendship with God. Let him speak to you in your deepest, darkest places.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right. I love you guys.
We love you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Have
Thank
a great
you.
night.
Thank you,
And
everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Thank you, everybody on Twitch. You guys have some amazing comments.
Hope you guys meet Jesus too.
Yeah.
If you haven't met him yet, he's
Yeah.
awesome.
Keep watching.
Meet him where you are.
Keep watching. You guys will appreciate it. If you can just change a couple things in your life, I think you'll find God amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, my loves.
And take it from two very decrepit sinners.
Right. We're not far from those. We weren't far from those Twitch people.
No.
We were very.
We were those Twitch people before they had Twitch.
If the rest of you could see the comments, you would definitely know what we're talking about. All right, my friends.
Love you.
Love you.
God bless.
God bless. Take care.